The way you end your day quietly decides the way your life will look a few months from now. Most people obsess over morning routines, productivity hacks, and hustle strategies, but science keeps pointing to something far more powerful and overlooked: what you do in the last few hours before sleep. Your brain, your hormones, your emotional memory, and even your identity are being shaped at night, when you think nothing important is happening. In reality, your nervous system is either repairing you or slowly breaking you down, depending on your night habits. Think about how most nights actually go. The day ends, but your mind doesn't. You lie in bed scrolling, absorbing other people's lives, arguments, bad news, fake success, and unrealistic expectations. Your body is physically tired, but your brain is overstimulated. Cortisol, the stress hormone, stays high. Melatonin, the hormone that allows deep sleep and recovery, gets delayed. Your brain never fully switches into repair mode. You fall asleep exhausted but wake up unrefreshed, slightly anxious, and already behind. When this repeats night after night, it quietly rewires your baseline mood. You start living in a constant low-grade stress state, even if nothing is technically wrong in your life. Science shows that the brain treats the final thoughts before sleep as important information. During deep sleep, especially REM sleep, the brain consolidates memories and emotions. What you focus on at night becomes the material your brain organizes, strengthens, and emotionally tags. If you go to sleep replaying regrets, arguments, fears, or comparison, your brain rehearses those emotions on loop. Over time, this doesn't just affect sleep quality. It shapes self-image, confidence, and emotional resilience. You don't wake up broken in one day. You wake up slightly more tired, slightly more irritable, slightly less motivated, until one day you think, "This is just who I am now." The perfect night habit doesn't start with doing more. It starts with stopping the mental noise that convinces you productivity equals worth. Research in neuroscience confirms that the brain needs a transition ritual between stimulation and rest. Without that transition, your nervous system never gets the signal that it's safe to shut down. This is why people feel tired but wired at night. They mistake exhaustion for readiness to sleep. But the brain doesn't care how tired you are. It cares about cues. Light is one of the strongest cues. Artificial blue light from phones and screens directly suppresses melatonin production. Even short exposure can delay deep sleep by hours. But the real damage isn't just the light, it's the content. Emotional stimulation activates the amygdala, the brain's threat center. Arguments, news, reels, and even motivational content can spike alertness. Your brain goes into evaluation mode instead of recovery mode. You may fall asleep, but your sleep becomes shallow and fragmented. Over time, this affects memory, learning, metabolism, and emotional regulation. Another overlooked night habit is how you talk to yourself when the day ends. Many people mentally review their day like a courtroom trial. Everything you didn't do becomes evidence against you. Your brain doesn't distinguish between constructive reflection and self-attack. It just hears threat. Studies show that self-critical thinking before sleep increases sleep latency and nighttime awakenings. But more importantly, it programs the brain to associate rest with guilt. You feel like you haven't earned rest, so you never fully relax. A life-changing night habit is replacing judgment with closure. Closure doesn't mean pretending everything was perfect. It means intentionally telling your brain, "Today is done." Writing a few lines, even mentally, about what went right, what you learned, and what can wait until tomorrow gives your brain permission to let go. Neuroscientists call this cognitive offloading, when the brain trusts that information is stored somewhere safe. It stops looping. This is why journaling, even for 5 minutes, can dramatically improve sleep quality and emotional clarity. Another science-backed habit is protecting your identity at night. During the day, you play roles: worker, parent, problem solver. At night, those roles need to come off. If you go to bed still identifying as your problems, your brain stays in problem-solving mode. The nervous system doesn't recover when identity remains threatened. Simple rituals like changing clothes, dimming lights, washing your face slowly, or sitting quietly signal to the brain that performance is over. These cues may seem small, but the brain is pattern-based. Repeated signals become powerful. Temperature also matters more than most people realize. Core body temperature needs to drop slightly for deep sleep to begin. Hot rooms, heavy meals late at night, or intense workouts too close to bedtime interfere with this process. Poor sleep then affects insulin sensitivity, hunger hormones, and emotional control the next day. This creates a cycle where you crave quick dopamine, feel unmotivated, and blame yourself, when the real issue started the night before. But the most powerful night habit is emotional safety. Your brain cannot heal if it feels unsafe. Safety isn't about locks on doors, it's about internal calm. Practices like slow breathing, gratitude, prayer, or simply sitting in silence activate the parasympathetic nervous system. This shifts the body from fight or flight into rest and digest. When this system activates regularly at night, inflammation decreases, immune function improves, and emotional resilience increases. Over weeks and months, people notice they react less, overthink less, and feel more grounded. Not because life changed, but because their nervous system did. Your night habits also shape your future self. During sleep, the brain strengthens neural pathways that were used during the day. Whatever you practice mentally becomes easier tomorrow. If you practiced worry, you wake up better at worrying. If you practice gratitude, reflection, or calm, you wake up emotionally stronger. This is neuroplasticity in action. You are literally training your brain every night, whether you're aware of it or not. Most people wait for motivation to change their lives. Night habits don't require motivation, they require intention. You don't need a perfect routine. You need consistency. Even 1 or 2 small changes done every night compound faster than occasional bursts of discipline. The brain loves predictability. When it knows what comes next, it relaxes. Chaos keeps it alert. By the time 2026 arrives, the people who feel calmer, sharper, and more confident won't be the ones who hustled harder. They'll be the ones who learned how to end their day properly. They'll sleep deeper, think clearer, and respond to life instead of reacting to it. Not because they forced change, but because they allowed recovery. Nothing magical happens overnight, but something powerful happens every night. And if you start treating those hours with respect, your life will start changing quietly, steadily, and permanently.